Welcome back, everyone, to Verizon Game Changers Series 2 North America. I am your host, Elizabeth, joined by Vansili and Bala. And if you're just joining us, you just missed a stolen map pick, a 13-7 reformed GC win over Mesos on Bind. And we were going back and forth for a little bit there. A little bit. And then Reformed kind of ran away with it, Bala.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, their players are hitting. Like, even through the first half when it was kind of close, you were just looking at Riv. I'm looking at MESO early on in that first half as well. Like, yeah, they're just hitting. Millie right here, those types of things. Yeah, this is a very, very nice game from Reformed, and I'm looking forward to see how it continues. With that being said, like, Mesos is fighting. And I'm actually surprised that they were able to hold on as long as they were, because to me, the comp that they went for, Riv was really finding ways to get access to that deadlock and make it very difficult for MESO to even work when it came to that attack side in the first half.
That's the other thing, too, for MESO, when they were going to finally take the defensive side, too, it was going to be difficult. We mentioned it before where, the standard comp allows you to get so much stall against players that are trying to plant towards the A site, and the comp they're pulling out, you kind of have to be a little bit more aggressive, and they had a game plan around that, right? We saw some very fast flanks coming out from Meso's Millionaires. We saw some aggressive pushes coming out from Manda, trying to make some plays, but all of that, when it's not coming into fruition, it doesn't allow for Angel as an initiator to really engage and help the team to do these type of like flood retakes or be a little bit more coordinated on those retakes, right? You're trying to take a lot of hero plays and hero positions, while as for RS composition, especially with the deadlock too, you saw how coordinated and how much of a tight knit they were when they were executing towards these A sites, hit after hit after hit, and then suddenly a B site throws them off and then back to A, just because you're basically fighting like a 3 versus 1 every single time when you're pushing as a group here against MESO. So once they took the attack side for Reformed, it was definitely theirs all along. I mean, 7 out of 7 out of pulse plants. What more can you do?
Exactly. Yeah, that attack side just so good. Eventually you run out of steam. I do have to point out as well, though, we were talking a lot about the history for Mesos coming into this one, how they had to kind of bring back one of their players, and in this case Mandy right now, it was a tough role, I think, for them to start off. Paper is one of those agents that, like, especially if you're taking a break from the game for a while, like, that's not easy to get back into right away. That's an agent that takes a lot of making sure we have the space to get comfortable, that sort of thing. And again, you're against a comp that's really taking away a lot of that space. So I think once you move off of that, once you get to somewhere a little bit more comfortable, maybe Icebox is that place. It might be better here for Mason.
Yeah, if anything, too, I wanted to add, though, you said talked about here, Bala, some roster changes that went through for one team going into Meso's Millionaires into this game today, but Reform also had similar things, right? KP stepped down. She, I don't know if she retired fully here from Valorant yet or not, but there was also MESO going into the composition, and it still looked good when you're looking at the coordination. I actually want to pull up around here so we could see that type of coordination, how much that deadlock also brought to the team when they were doing these executions. And simply enough, this is like a great way to start off the game too. When you have pistol round and you're throwing the wall towards that back, it takes a long time for it to break. But keep an eye on how like they're using the utility, how they're playing around that as well. You're not trying to play those lineups from all the way back towards the spawn. You now have like the Viper and Showers, the Brimstone and U-Haul. So when it comes to those type of delays, it's just an easy like snake bite from the side. It's just an easy molly from the other end too. If of course they don't get picked up in the first place, picked off in the first place. But you're seeing also in these executions when they finally aggress towards this A site, they also throw a very interesting Viper orb into a hall that even covers out one part of the hallway, so that when people are actually trying to funnel back towards U-Haul, you're actually getting decayed. You lost vision. It gives an opportunity for the Brimstone to even just get easy sprays to answer back. There was a lot of layers into that synergy that was brought out here for Reform in such a short time, and it doesn't prove to me that it's going to be an easier series here for Meso's Millionaires to try to come back.
Yes, and I think that deadlock that we were hyping up a little bit before the match and hyping up now was played by Riv, who the audience met briefly with the intro video that she made for us, was just truly, I didn't know how it was going to go, and it certainly went. She absolutely killed it on the agent. I mean, Vans, you brought it the round, but Bala, what did you see with Riv on the deadlock?
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, she was fragging. Very exciting, and I think Bind is one of those maps that I'm very curious still. I mean, where there's going to be super value from it, but this was a 1v2 clutch that she went into. That was
close.
Really,
Close,
this one was close, but a number of those deadlock ults actually caught value. You mentioned the pistol round, we just saw a glimpse of that as well. Here's another one of those ults catching value. This sort of thing was happening a lot, and you kind of mentioned how you can duel a lot on this agent, and that's what we saw, Vans, the entire time.
Definitely.
A very proactive Sentinel that you see. She's able to go forward and she's able to do a lot of things with that agent versus maybe like a KJ or Cypher wouldn't be able to do and use it. Like GravNet, brilliant, gorgeous.
Yeah.
And Riv really helped solidify that 13-7, stealing MESO's map pick away from them. That was the bind pick. And then moving forward, we'll be going to the next map, which I believe is Icebox. We could see a deadlock here again. Deadlock would fit well here, but we also could see many other agents, Vans.
Yeah. No, definitely. When they played against each other the last time, though, it's quite interesting how they actually brought out these comps. Both of them played a Sage, so I don't think it's bad right now to bring out a Sage on Icebox. This is still a very easy mode. Try to get a good plant here for a safe one so you can play these pulse plans. But what was interesting was the type of initiators that both of these teams brought out. If I'm not mistaken here, for Reform, they brought out a Gecko, so not playing any scans when they were moving in a single initiator comp. Well, for the other end, they had a Sova with no flashes, right? So it almost sees like or feels like when you're watching or thinking about the composition for Reform is that you're trying to combine a little bit of the Viper Sage Wall and a Gecko plant just to not, you don't need those players to move forward with everybody else and get scans or whatnot to be able to get safe plants just because you're playing further back. So it's quite interesting. At least for today, though, you're definitely seeing that MESO's Millionaires are pulling out 2 initiators this time around. So learning from the last time, stepping away from the Sage, and wanting to use this flash recon to fight back against Reform the last time that they met against each other here.
Yeah, this one's kind of basic, I think, on both sides. You mentioned the Gecko. I prefer the Gecko when you're talking about, like, I think not having the scan is super, super difficult. When this map is a lot about let's gather information in those cycles, those 40-second cycles, to figure out, okay, where are they about to hit? But with that said, I still like the Gecko a lot because it provides, huge value with the ults in this case, being able to dive in. So in this case, I think the meta is the KO Gecko, and here Reform's going for the Sage instead of the KO. And yeah, maybe there'll be a little bit more ability to get those basic ideas, those basic plans off.
That's the important thing, though, Bala. When you're looking at the Reform composition, yes, a Gecko is nice, but they're using Gecko as a solo initiator. So in terms of trying to get aggressive on your defensive side, think about when, getting information on your attack side. Usually when you're throwing a KO knife towards pipes or you're throwing a recon dart just to try to get that early info, you can't really do that as much. So you have to like almost micro scale every 10 seconds where you throw a Gecko early towards belt to see if anybody is going to be jumping towards belt, pick it up, throw it towards tube, but you're also giving like your information away as you're scaling up. Whilst as you mentioned before, having a KO with a Gecko is kind of like good meta because you're allowed and able to like dizzy flash combos to guarantee some scans on your hit. While as just a Gecko, it's easy to shoot an eye out, and if you have a good crossfire set up on a defense, it's technically shouldn't be adding too much value into what Reform is trying to pull out.
I mean, if you had to go off of these comps, gut feeling, starting on defense, starting on attack, who do you think is going to take it, gentlemen?
Just off comps alone?
Just off comps alone.
I like MESO's comp a little bit better.
You like MESO's comp?
Yeah.
Okay. I think what we're... Sorry, no, after you.
No, please, after you. I'm going to be Canadian
today.
today.
I was involved in this, but no, please, after you too.
Oh, you think it's on Wow. I appreciate it. Wow. What makes me really, really nervous, honestly, is the Sage on attack. I think KJ is a wonderful Sentinel to have on attack. She holds your flank. She does a lot for post plant. Attacking with a Sage, it stalls for a little bit maybe, but it does worry me when like I would have loved to have seen like a scan, like a Sova or something there, like you talked about getting that info. I'm a big believer in the double initiator, and so seeing the double senti, especially starting on attack with the Sage, I would have like even preferred like a deadlock or something else, Vance.
Yeah, I think first thing, at least for MESO's Millionaires starting off with defense, this is a great start for them, right? To build that confidence against this comp that Reform GC brings out. But at the same time, for their attack, I do agree with you. Trying to clear yellow when you're trying to take green to the B site is a little bit more difficult, but there is still opportunities here where I would see potentially like Kazler and Mizu throw slow orbs and also moshes towards yellow, so Millie could dash forward and try to pick some players off. If they do and they manage to survive out of that, they'll just get a free heal and then everything's back to normal with a quick reset. So the way that you're trying to take map control is definitely going to be a lot more aggressive and see here if there's a counter to it from MESO's Millionaires, because remember, this is already something that they've played against in the past, the last time that they met against each other here between these two teams during the open qualifiers. So there is some min-maxing that you could do on the side of MESO's Millionaires, and if I'm not mistaken, Riceballin is coaching for this team too, so there's probably going to be a lot of studying and VODs to see what's going on for MESO's Millionaires and how they could counter Reform's attack half.
Yeah, I mean, not to shut down the composition talk or anything like that, but I do think that both comps are fine, right? I think both have the ability to play here. I think when it comes down to it, I'm looking at the map pool, I'm seeing Icebox and Breeze, I'm seeing the first map go in Reform's favor, and I'm seeing the performance that Millie had in that first map as well, and I'm thinking, yeah, once, like, we haven't seen too much of that odd battle, but once we do get into that, are they also going to be in? Right? Are they also going to be just as good as they were on Vine? Because yeah, it's somebody who could just take over the map entirely in that head-to-head battle, Millie versus Ellie's.
Yeah, and I think a dear friend of ours once said, "This is Valorant. You shoot them, they die." So while abilities are great, this is at the end of the day a gun game, and we have some incredibly mechanically gifted aimers in this server, in this lobby right now. And speaking of said aimers, one of our players is dealing with a tech issue right now, but we've heard they're on their way back, so they should be here soon. So thank you so much for your patience. We really, really appreciate it. I do want to hop back quickly to the comp talk because I used to be a Gecko Icebox hater. I was like, no, absolutely not. Really? I don't like it. And then because I was silly. I was blind. I didn't get it. But then I really thought about it, and I was like, that is such a great agent to have on this map that's so tight and so corner baseball.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many places that it can clear at the same time. That's why it's really nice to combo with certain flashes, but you also have to, right? And with the nerfs to constant changes and nerfs to the drones from Sova and those sorts of things, it becomes really hard to find that balance. So yeah, I think Echo is one of those places that it just kind of fills the gap very easily, and then also it provides extra value everywhere, right? The reusability of this, all the abilities in this case, is super valuable when you're constantly ping-ponging between the two different things. I mean, if you watch some of the best teams, right, you never really know when they're going to go until there's about 40 seconds left. So
it's true.
The defaulting on this map is super huge, and being able to clear everything effectively is very huge. So
that's the thing.
Refreshability is so massive.
Yeah, 100%. But I also still think, to go back with Bala, when he was saying both comps are fine, I would agree with you if it's just Reform being able to frag out the way that they've been in the first map and the way that we know that Reform could do. But if there's been some studying, which is why MESO's Millionaire came out with a slight change in their composition, they've learned something, right? So if you have to start thinking on the fly here for Reform, that's where it might get a little bit more iffy with that single initiator with Gecko. But I feel like just the comp, if I'm looking at it from in the first place, I would probably see a boatload of hits towards the A site, right? When we talk about the recon dart or the knife that you don't have for that composition for Reform, just a little mosh. A lot of these lineups from mosh on the top of the A nest that lands on the pipes to deny that vision and deny that spot for Jets to get on top of. That's probably going to be one of those types of utility and hits they're going to have to do as a team to make sure you scale up effectively.
Yes, and I think maybe we should just give a little more trust in Wingman. He works very, very hard. He has a lot of good work. What did you just say?
Hundo P.
Hundo P. Okay, I thought you said something else. But again, thank you so much for your patience. The player is back in the lobby. So I think Riv, the caster, and Gompers, the game's in your hands. Please take it away.
The game is in our hands, and so is the outcome. No, it's not actually.
And
if the outcome was in my hands. Exactly. So now we're not starting the game. Casters are not starting the game. I'm kidding. So thank you guys. So we're very evil on the desk today. But I'm super excited. We saw the first game. The way that it went, it didn't go so well in favor of Mesos. But we're moving on to Icebox. There are some changes in the composition, Riv, and I am curious.
There are. We drop one Sova, we gain one Sova, the double Sentinel, double Initiator. I am also curious on how this is going to work. I do actually enjoy the Gecko here on Icebox, especially with the Sage, the way you can kind of just wall up, lots of util there. But the tried and true kind of Icebox comp from MESO here is tough to play against. We'll see what they can do as they already push up. I feel like they haven't stopped since Bind. But they will be detected by this turret mid as that lurk from Slandy is going to get pinched here. I don't know how big this fight's going to be, but it's on both sides.
Already actually trying to pick off a very aggressive fight. Losing many in the hands of Meso. So, yeah, big back off. Angel still sitting down towards B. So keeping the discipline on Meso there.
Backing up on both sides. Yeah, at least just takes a few, calibrates that Sheriff True to Slandy, and here's this plant towards A. We expected the pressure here in the beginning of the round. The wall goes up to the left to give them some more time to know it's going to be a rafter drop if they come in. Whoa, no, it's going to hurt.
Oh, and that it does. Still fighting this though, Manda. Okay, keeps the confidence, keeps the game going. That first round going over to Meso.
Oh my gosh. That just seems so chaotic. Amanda just kept a little bit from peeking. Perfect shock darts to go across. And you looked at that. It was actually placed a little bit deeper, right? One was rope near the plant, and then a little bit deeper for if they tried to run away or step back. And that's exactly what MESO did. Clean first round and trying to stop that plant. 2 kills for Lease, 3 for Amanda as we start off our second round here. Outlaw is out. Straight to pipes here for Lease.
And they've seen the suppression be made, at least watching the wrong angle. But somehow Reformed, this might be the pistol round that turns around everything for them.
Gompers, no.
Dude, and a huge pickup. Like, Meso shattered at this point.
On just a classic round? On just the, hey, let's push forward in W classic round. That was crazy. Now, you got Meso sweating.
Oh, Teddy could actually pull through there. With a Bulldog, all they need is patience. And Animal's watching as well. The Outlaw, body shot.
3.
Down to there. But playing into this, Melee knows what angle to be watching. And it's Animal left into a 1v2. They need to clutch this round. If not, Meso stuck in a very, very dire spot in terms of economy, but it's Animal that just can't pull through.
Wow. Wow. So the miscommunication there was the Vandal on the floor was thought to be covering pipes for the Outlaw. And then that once the Vandal backs up, Mesos had no coverage on, at least on pipes. They were trying to cover that and it just did not work. Really well played by Reform to spot out those flaws in the defense and just push forward, instantly capitalizing on weapons, capitalizing on a round and snuffing out Meso momentum here on Icebox, something they needed so much of. All right, weapons are out now for Reform. They're going to go ahead and keep an Outlaw in hand, though. MESO keeps a hold of that. And just this noise towards A and nothing at the beginning here with the KO knife. Or actually, they did not knife. Meso is just going to rotate early and get themselves over to this side of the site.
Is there going to be another thrifty round? Maybe. Any more?
3 sheriffs could come up big.
Actually doing great work with it too. And working together to play into that context. So Meso holding on and pushing this rotation to come through from Reform.
Slandy's running a weapon. Yeah. Nice try. There you go. There you go for a fan. It's like throwing a hockey puck over the glass. All right. Really nicely done here. Now you're right. You said it. Could be another thrifty. The push here from Teddy to be clear. One down.
No charges left. One enemy remaining.
Okay, taking that more though.
Yeah.
just pretty much leaving them to die. And it doesn't feel good if you're MESO. You lose the last round, you're coming into this one, and obviously it kind of works in the way that it does, but yeah, they held on.
Ooh. Push. Really smart by Reform to throw the guns away there, because that's exactly what MESO was looking for. Like, oh, maybe a Vandal, maybe a Bulldog. What's over here next to this Long B area? And it was just a bunch of Reform members for a second round. Now we get to our fourth. Scratch out the bonus for this one, really. Going to be money abound now for Reformed as MESO try to make this one work. They'll get 2,900 if they aren't able to get this round. So maybe a bit of a low buy next round, but still things are not looking good here for the momentum grab from the defensive side. 4 members have Reformed now towards A, as they get tagged very nicely by Angel 0 Point.
Slow walk up. Actually just trying to pressure MESO into some sort of impatience. Doesn't seem like it's going to work, though. MESO keeping themselves very, very well intact.
It'd be neat if they could clear the turret from the back and then have somebody push up, but no one's mid. They just have one person watching that. Right.
Yeah, huge flash, though. Already starting things off to keep it going, but Riff getting a nice opening shot, but the duelist Millie can't seem to find one of their own. Of course, now it's shut down. You had so much util residing on the A site.
30 seconds left.
And then nothing really that you can work with anymore. No utility is going to have the dry swing, knowing the flash is there, but still getting shut down.
Spike down A.
So much chaos here. The team kill coming through there. Unfortunate, man. It dropped right onto that Molly with the dash in. It's like everybody predicted the right thing, but just not what their teammate was. And Teddy hits one. He could still grab this, even with the PK. Oh my gosh.
Dude, Slandy's taking this one in. But the timing just does not work out. Angel sitting right behind.
Yeah.
And leading the team to another victory, 2-2. So it doesn't feel like all is lost, despite them losing, a pretty important round previously.
Ooh. Scrappy around the board. Muster up a few here, just hiding. Angel tucking the wings and making sure not sticking out on any side of that die box. All right, so that's a big one. I mean, they get a bit more with the defuse and the frags, but they're still not in the money on the side of MESO right now. You can see it's a tough buy coming through. Animal as well, going to have lockdown in 3, but just a sheriff on this round as we get our first performed mid round. Right under 2.
Lanny's waiting. No noise heard. And they don't even know that this rotation's coming along. So if Elise peeks into this, they could find a free one. Oh, footsteps heard. Damage being made, especially now with Slandy turning themselves around. Yeah, and making a say into this game. MESO having to somehow recollect themselves.
Yeah, save. Easy save on this one. Already didn't have the money to do too much. And Reformed definitely have some tricks up their sleeve. That just being a simple mid strap, but Reformed was going pretty default, pretty basic, covering each other on a lot of those strats. And that round that Mesos gets their money back, they get some weapons. Bam. One of those fast strats. Reformed straight up mid, under 2, kind of just discombobulating the defense. Mesos is now trying to set up on a round they feel kind of comfortable. And I think Reform's ability to kind of change that pace really throws their opponents off here, along with just the firepower that they bring. We'll see how they do it again here. Another lower buy from MESO, but they're still trying to string it together. That's tough.
It's not, not going to be easy. I feel like either way, they could definitely farm some orbs here or picks just to get some of the ultimates leveled out on Meso's Millionaires. Gives themselves an opportunity to try to take things back. But yeah, orbs being collected on the side of Reform, knowing they need this and they need something to put into this round.
Slowly towards yellow. Nice clear. That's the util. Waiting to see when it would come out. I think they were waiting to receive a little bit of util if it was going to be a KO flash or not. But they'll get that in just a little bit. Nice encroachment towards mid here, but they don't have the flank yet. Elise needs to get in a position.
No, Riv reads into it though. Oh, still taken down. Elise does not care. Is going to continue to fight this back while Animal fights for the site on their own. But the attacking half, they have the spike down. In this scenario, they're very, very comfortable. They know Elise is around the flank. Now that the smoke has created that diversion as well, slowly working themselves inward while Castler works it out. And it's Reform that just continues to wreak havoc on the site. Thrash now finding the Viper. Actually not. Continuing it along, finding it in the smoke. And it's MESO and Castler that give Reformed another shot at life.
Incredible multitasking from Reformed there, especially after losing Riv. They had to pull back with Slandy, but still calling for Slandy's utility to go up and down in the wall. They were fighting on all fronts, and it was really, really well handled. The lower buy again here, punishing the side of MESO once again. And they get themselves now some weapons here. Operator for Elise. Bala talked about this on the desk. Could it change the pace enough and the momentum of the game once we get this op battle going back and forth? A little bit of a rotate out by Riv to watch the flank here. Get a turret down so they can get mid and A push coverage. They're going to leave it up to Millie to find out what's going on inside B.
Watching. And Elise
What?
still going to be there. They've seen the barrel of the gun, but it doesn't work. They didn't back themselves off. They stayed so close playing with the op.
Yeah. Would have been sick. Looking for that quick scope and the fast play. You hit those, and sometimes your groove hits, and you're just taking everybody out. But no deals that time. A good push in, and they do get that weapon down. Rez comes through, super helpful, and now Reform can start to use that Sage in the composition to make sure they secure another round that MESO buy into. Another one of these where they're trying to gain control of the game, but Reformed has an answer. It looks like they insert Slandy. They start moving towards this A site.
But the move outward, it does not work for Slandy, but it was all nothing but a diversion.
Yep.
30 seconds
Yeah,
left.
Reform knew from the beginning that this was probably their best bet at getting themselves onto a site.
Top plan. Okay, they don't decide to push up. They get back.
Planted.
Wall up for a little bit of delay, and they are going to play just about outside site 2 states 410.
Kazler's pretty much picking everyone off like it's nothing. Already another one left to it.
Kazler?
And they were switching over to the Classic to see if they could finish it off, but not the way the cookie crumbles. Angel now making their way up above, looking for some sort of redemption for MESO so that they're not, stuck in the iteration of being left behind, being left down to ending up going that 13-2, 13-4 streak that they had before, so.
Ooh. Kazler getting the dream play there. You're like, okay, I'm in it, but I hope they peek me. Detained otherwise. And they just cat peek, and 3K there for the hat trick. Team's able to clean up the rest. What a play from Kazler. 11-5. Thrash is back up. We actually just saw that at B when they threw it in the Viper's pit. Remember? They had the other buy. So, yeah, Reformed is, I'd say, in the momentum. That's the word. Ultimates, 3 of those ready. MESO's going to call an timeout here on a round where they're semi-buying into. They want to be able to grab more than 1 round of money out of this, which is what it's telling me, because they could go for some low buys here, maybe a hero rifle on some buy, but it's not going to work out if not everybody can participate. It's one of the big things, Gompers, that was getting them those rounds on bind. The pushes as a team, taking control of long B and fighting together. If they don't have the weaponry, they can't do that. So it is going to be a time. I think they all take a moment to not purchase in this round for the low buy. And we'll see maybe a few rounds of guns from them here that could start to turn it around.
Yeah, they changed as well, like from having the Sentinel be Sage to now implementing this KO for MESO Millionaires. It's just not really meshing with what I guess they had intended. I'm not seeing a lot of impact coming through on the defense from, suppressions or early information that could actually come out to give MESO an opportunity. So definitely lacking in that as well, it seems like. But yeah, figuring it out, taking the tech pause to find themselves and find themselves in this game.
Oh yeah, monster on the loose.
All right. The Sheriff's push just behind Teddy's Stinger. Yeah, Thrash is so good for A site too. The distance that Thrash can travel if you're on 410 basically clears the site. We see that knowledge now happily in favor of RF. Slandy's just taking Polaroids here of his enemies before he takes them out. Or they take them out, rather. A little brutal.
They pushed out, though. Alarm bot kind of settled, but not catching anything. Yeah, Reformed are rolling with the punches around like this, and I love the way Thrash moves. It's so good. It's so cute. But a flawless round given away again to Reformed. But we haven't had the time to really see what MESO wants to start implementing into this. I mean, Op already kind of pulled out from Elise, so already big plans.
Yeah, quick reuse the ults, not caring that it's a low buy round. Reform's ready to secure these, move on to the next. And you talked about the op, it's going to be back out, and that is the pressure buy, right? Down to low, not even full armor on this. They're all halved into this. A little bit of money there for Angel, but if they lose this or win this, it's going to be just about the same amount of money. So they're still not looking that great. It should be a buy, though, like we talked about. A few rounds of guns is what Mesos is looking for to get it, but without first blood going in their favor and the op, that's crazy, Gompers. That's crazy. That's the first kill.
And they're just watching the op, too. I think Meso know, like, man, they've lost so heavily into that investment. Now they're going to have to fight against the Viper's Pit, which isn't going to be easy on its own, but the spike's still in the hands of Jet. And it seems like rotation might be warranted. Slandy just up top to make sure that they get some picks before something happens.
Well played. Meso trying to read this ruse. Ooh, a little sketchy there as the rotations are starting to happen. Who's going to get there first? It looks like yellow is controlled by MESO.
Oh, the arm peeked through. And an unfortunate, I mean, line of events, but it seems like MESO are still holding on. They counted into this rotation. Now, they know that Riv's looking for the spike, but they leave it down. 30 seconds left. They have to plant here. They can't go for the rotation. They isolate the fight, but up above, they don't know they're there. And now, needing to look below, and that's exactly what they'll do.
Well, back and forth rotation, pressure on the map, and Meso are able to find the opening kills that they need. Really not something we've been seeing. They continue to play from behind. The conversions are all going in favor of the side of Reform, but that one kill, not having the timing on the pressure of the A Viper's Pit, allowed that rotation to come in just a little bit sooner. And we see if Mesos gets there on time, yeah, it's still going to be scrappy. We saw the rounds they got before was only down to 1 or 2 members, but those are the rounds. That's the win column, and that's what they need right now, as bloody as it'll get. So they start to push in. Sova Dart, a little bounce. I don't think that's going to ping, but they know this A area is controlled by Elisa's audio and what she is able to hear. Good push up a little bit by Animal here.
Yeah.
Nice proactiveness.
Elise just sits here, though. Oh, but they shot it down. And even then, the smoke is actually going to help them just a little bit, but does get caught the moment they try to get away from all the havoc that's happening here. But Meso holding on to the side. And the Hunter's Fury, a big portion of that control and why they were able to hold on so long.
Just lurk up too. Animal's got the timing off of not having the Killjoy up. They may not take it. So Animal not going in tells you that they feel like Reform can still do anything. They're ready to rotate. They could be somewhere else. Obviously, they're going to find him in sight and be able to lock it down a little bit more, but yeah. Mesos is trying to read every option that could happen. And Slandy might have another one.
Yeah. Fighting for their lives, but MESO just kind of on top of their game. They're using everything in their pockets to push them forward, and you know, every single ultimate. You saw the lockdown from Animal. Now you're seeing the Hunter's Fury from Manda, and potential for maybe you know, the ultimate from Pam.
Really smart play overall. Again, Animal not pushing into the site, playing not losing to a turnaround, and everybody in sight playing the communication there. We were missing that in the first few rounds. MESO was killing each other with some mollies. It was a little back and forth on who was going to take a round, but they seemed to have it synced up now. It only took a few of those rounds. Good look at a tied first half here. Push towards this Viper's pit as they're looking for a spam. Riz gonna find Animal on that push from last round, but man, the answers feels good right now for MESO here.
Yeah, knowing at this point that the only person mid is Sova, though. They have some of that space accounted for. It's not like they're looking for a rotation going up towards 2, but they're just leaving MESO to be prepared and ready for a possibility to take that 1v1.
MESO up. Nice shock dart chip there. Just behind, but Cavsler has some damage on. As they head towards B, straight under tube again. A little bit of repeat from earlier strat.
Wow. And they just won't let it go. They're taking in every single headshot. Everything accounted for.
So many different fights in different areas. I mean, look at the kills on the map right now.
Yeah.
There's like a few over here, a few mid, one at the back of mid. And now they push again, a re-rotation from Angel back around to kind of reset the timing on what they're going to hit here on the hit.
Get out of my way.
Huge suppression from Angel to kind of lead them into this in the first place. But yeah,
Okay.
Up just staying in the hands of Elise and losing out on the side of Reformed on their off. So yeah, looking very, very difficult for Reformed right now in this moment because of that pressure, or because of those the 1v1s happening in every single part of the map.
And that was a 4v5 conversion. That was Animal going down from Riv in mid, and then somehow MESO takes the round because they push it long. The other 1v1 fights that were happening around the map are just going in favor of MESO right now, and it is paying off. The operator isn't getting too much action, but I think it is swaying a bit of the movement of Reformed into the hands of MESO, into their waiting arms of this rotation. 3 rounds in a row now to try and bring it back to 6-6. This is just a refresh here. Don't have to play fetch with it if you just throw it straight up. So Dizzy's back on refresh in 10. And it looks like they're going to go towards B after a little noise today.
Oh, they definitely heard the jiggle peaks. They were just waiting. Waiting.
Sharp shot.
Yeah, it works out.
No mid push. All towards B here, and Teddy's gonna do a denial orb here, just to see if he can, they can deter this spike plant going down. All right, push in. Teddy just plays the wall. That's brazen. Like to see it though.
Dude, this smoke to find one is crazy, but now they've just loaded up the thrash. Oh, but Mana's trying to fight back. Hunter's Fury, it's actually not couching anything. Instead, it's just an ultimate now gone.
Spike planted.
Plant, easy in, easy out. Get the utility back on Gecko, and now this is such a much more structured position here for Reform than what we saw as they go under tube on this site hold. Oh my gosh, they're all ready. 2 watching and util out.
Dude, and they just all come along. They
Wait.
did reload the thrash, but they didn't find potential to get anybody else. Landy
Calm.
down to 10 health, but huge. The stun comes through. They have opportunity for a defusal now, but man, it's too late. Even then, even if they tried to get this headshot, they need to run back, but it's Cavsler through the wall.
It comes down to the angles on that. And the fact that Cavsler couldn't be hit. What a push from Yellow for Manda. That looked like it was going to be it. Able to clean up a few, but then that hit. The fact that Wingman picked back up and then reused actually stopped that push really heavy.
Player standing.
Full effect. When you see that angle, they just couldn't hit. Okay.
Yeah, it's
It's like the fadeaway sidestep Vandal shot off accuracy. You'll take it every time.
the pre-fires for the last 2 games have been crazy. I'm not gonna lie, but I don't know what's going on. I feel like we've after the Viper nerfs, we've just delved into a new realm of I just need to win my fights. But
Yeah, there's not much post plant there, so there's definitely a lot more fighting in the post plant. We usually have, especially from B, there are just 2 mollies on the left side of the king box at long, and you can stay and wait, cover Yellow. but it does not provide that. And usually you could wait 6 seconds between each molly. So that's 12 seconds of coverage on a spike that is not there anymore. You have to do a lot more work to keep them off the spike, and Mesos was able to push on that. We're into the next half, though. RF now on defense. Oh, my gosh. They could shake hands.
They're not. They are shaking hands, all right, dude. The whole gang pretty much just showed up to the pistol round party,
Yeah.
and there's only one person that can leave with the raffle ticket, right? So, I guess more so the raffle prize. That being the 1 point needed to bring Meso back up to the top. So, they're fighting for their lives for this. But Angel with 1 flash left, of course, the 1v2 can't at this point book a rotation. So, needs to find this. And again, Slaney finding the opportunity to figure out where Angel is and repositioning and leaving it up to Millie. Maybe actually not. I think they're just trolling at this point and waiting for the perfect moment to do that up-down strike. But, yeah, playing off the contact. Millie, he comes forward. It's Sandy up above, making sure to apply that pressure.
Reformed on 3 of the pistols. Remember, Meso's grabbing 1, and then they got the Thrifty, so they don't have all of them, but they will take this one back on round 13. Make sure they got Stingers, Bulldogs. No Vandals this time. I think Vandals might be something that hits your team back too hard. It's always a scary thing to see Vandals. Obviously, teams know what they're doing, but every time in the second round, I'm like, oh boy. That could be trouble. Here we got Bulldogs. Outlaw actually comes out instead of one of those. And we are going to have our second round just be a pipes play from Reformed. And not too much aggression here as Meso look to take mid.
Oh, they're all going underneath. Misu's taken out 1. Maybe on the outskirts of the A site, but they weren't expecting B. Yeah, it's Slandy left alone. How are they going to continue to fight this? I guess just with firepower, Reformed. So far, they've just been so good with handling Meso in the pistol rounds, giving themselves the lead to make sure that they have some sort of leeway, which obviously is the same thing that's happening again, but it's Angel fighting back a little heavier than before, and the Fusel in the hands of Reformed.
Good damage. Good damage. Kind of a crazy shot from Angel there.
Yeah.
As we saw him coming around the corner, but they cleaned it up. Very nicely done. I should say onto Angel, but yeah. Site defuse. They actually go ahead, get that to Misu. Look to get themselves a little bit of Sage ult. That res came up very big for them on a previous round, knowing that at least pick up the op for a moment. Not having a clove this time, but sending somebody in to try and take that first op shot and then be a person you can bring back is actually huge with the way that the side of Meso wants to actually play their game previously. We'll know if we'll see it too much on the attack side. There's 4,100 purchased in from Elise just to get the Vandal and the rest of the team on buys here. And they should get this round. Otherwise, I feel RF just runs away with the game again. Big push up from RF.
Yeah. They have early info, and that as well, like, they know the suppression is there. So if anything, just pushing for a big flank might be the play here. The biggest question is, how are they going to handle the post plan? Are they going to allow them to just contest that space?
Whoa. Oh, just off the timing. So a little tag coming through here and there, but it is sight for Meso. Spike's not there, though. Spike is taking a little bit too long, and this rotation is going to come into place for Reformed. They are not planting.
No. Oh, but around the back, they've read into the flank. And
There
Meso,
it is.
in an anti-eco round for Reformed, kind of leads them down the drain. Comes a victory for Meso to put themselves back on the board in this half. So, yeah, despite that, Slandy's still going to fight for some sort of pick or elimination. Just one underneath. It's a Viper
Yeah.
on Viper Showdown if Slandy does want to peek this.
Nice job by Meso. I like the aggression on this one. Or at least, not the aggression. I like the confidence. Pushed into the site. Knew you were against lower buys. You can't be giving Reformed all kind of crazy respect in these rounds. You still give them respect, but you have to know when you're playing the better guns. You take those shots and you take the trades. Or not even the trades, but the double ups when you face your opponents. The Angel does go down, but they'll have the weapons. Millie with the operator. See if they can identify this. I think it's a big point. We talked about the Sage being out for that KO. This is where it can be very effective. They're not going to know it's an op right away, but if they can continually identify where Millie is, it's going to be a huge boon for the side of MESO here to avoid those early hard angle fights from the operator and get more of what they want. Uh-oh. Oh, it missed.
He put down.
Unfortunate miss on the knife.
Yeah.
Just a bit too far there, Gompers. They had the right idea, too.
It's huge. Millie also walks away with one, so.
Yeah, they're the one that wants to go vertical and push into the site, whether it be A or B now. The duelist being down. It's more than the pawn right away. And now, how do MESO play it out? Use the drone to get a bit more space. No real ultimates on deck unless Teddy can plant here. But that Viper's Pit is going to give Reformed a lot of space to get close to those walls of the pit and retake the site.
Oh, but the off shot missed. Now Millie has to fight back. Nothing else they can do there other than just wait for the plant to commence and then possibly use some of the util left there because we still have the Dizzy from Kazler. Now Millie trying to push for some of those off shots on the side of Reformed, but the attacking side can't seem to hold on better on the side of Kazler. Finding them like it's nothing, and another one left into the hands of Reformed. 10-6.
Just facing them. All ref just walk out into the open there and take the hit, as well as I think we tried to see MESO go in when the gas wall was kind of not up or down. Maybe the orb here was what was protecting them. Okay, so they didn't have the wall to go up, so they're forced to take a bunch of fights against the operator that they knew was there. So again, forcing those angles, going in, and they almost had to because they didn't have map control. Reformed is just all over the map right now, all over the reads, and doing a very good job of stopping MESO before they get the strat online. Here playing a bit further back, that operator on the walkway of A, and they'll already start to rotate it out. No, second guessed, as they know they have 3 on B already, so they just hold it.
Yeah, Dart. It's been shot down, so kind of going and fine at this point, just relying on the Viper util. Kind of give them some sort of leeway, but a huge stall for the util there coming through from Riv. Reformed. Not looking to lose just yet, but there's nothing to lose at the moment with no fight starting to happen. Those Landy starting it off. And at least looking for something of their own, but the Dizzy, it's created a blind that came through, but at least still surviving. What is going on? I feel like a game of cat and mouse. Nobody's dying. Elise won't go. They continue to stay alive.
Okay, goes down. There's a res. Riv comes back up, and that ordeal, that was a hell of a tango. I don't think I've ever seen somebody dance that much in a pro game. This is going to be the plant over towards the right side. Wow. Okay, so Teddy goes high with this towards the right. Going to be a very interesting kill on the diffuser, but with being inside the pit, I guess you're going to have eyes on it in the first place. Is it a push-up, or do they play close to the spike is the question.
Thrash
Just
having a party.
steps outside. Beautiful movement to dodge the Thrash.
Teddy's
Walks
ready.
towards the 0.
I think this is perfect. It's so interesting how it makes like a little bridge underneath, but Teddy now knowing that they can just work themselves around, and that's interesting. They were ready for this moment, but a 1v1. And it's Kazler that knows all they need is half. Their head not seen. An Angel needing to push themselves up, but it's Kazler's prepared and ready. Messing with their heads, but they have it.
Oh! Messing with their heads, but Kazler takes the head off of Angel. That's such a difficult shot to hit. It's the shot. It's the rope trick you use on Breeze. You use on whatever map to kind of just peek check and give your opponent something to worry about. And then the commitment comes in. Kazler is able to hit the shot more than once coming up on a clutch round. Kazler comes up huge there and denies any momentum to the side of MESO. 11 rounds now. They've tried to avoid the op. They've walked into it. Same result on both times. Conference, it's going to be tough to find a way around what Millie's doing with that and the rest of Reform's able to do on the other side.
Kazler. Everybody else here just stacking up on A. This is such a big read, too. Suppression moved forward. MESO knows they have to fight at this point. No wall.
Yeah.
Kind of push.
All quiet. Just start walking backwards, give a little space, see if RF takes that. It looks like they will. Be good timing here. I don't think they need too many alt orbs, so they're not going to go for the sound there. Just playing a close-up on Maze now. And Millie hasn't even... the movement is still in the same spot, so I can't say they haven't moved. But they're still looking down long B. So... trying to source out where this operator could be, where the most danger is. And it looks like they'll try to keep it close, knowing it's not going to be in kitchen right away. Question mark.
30 seconds left.
Oh, the timing!
He's still ready with the op to kind of shut this down mid. Oh, but the smoke is such a good call. They know Millie's there, and they just lack control at that point. Elise taking advantage of their util.
10 seconds left.
Nobody's watching. It's okay. Wingman there. And it does give away location, so they know what they need to watch. But Angel ready to help the team out. The pop flash that ends up flashing themselves and nobody else. Reformed are on a roll. Honestly, it feels unbeatable.
It didn't, the flash didn't go up far enough, but it's kind of, it's been the story. It just, that little bit is missing each time on this play or that play. We saw what they were doing. Mesos there pushing up into tube. Great positioning, and then it looked like maybe a gun barrel was sticking out just a little too much. So Riv takes a shot towards tube. Tube finally looks away, kitchen peeks, right? You're like, oh my God, I was standing here for 30 seconds to make this play, and that's how it ends. It just seems like Reformed has those answers for each one of these slow plays or fast plays that Meso wants to do. They're going to go ahead and juggle the op around. That's in the hands of Riv now on the A side as they stack 2-2 towards mid B. Now Meso looks for an all towards A. A quick dart towards Maze. Wall is already up towards A to signify a bit of pressure there. And Riv's going to be pushed off with the op to start. Let's see if Mesos can start a comeback here. Otherwise, Reformed on game point.
Oh, comeback not looking easy, especially now
Spike planted.
as they take advantage of the entirety of site. Lockdown as well being applied to just stall for some time, but how well is that going to work? Flank still waiting.
It does seem like buying time almost isn't enough against Reformed right now in their retakes, and now they'll begin entering site from the top side to waterfall in.
Yeah, especially with the match point here. They lose this one, they lose the series, and it's going to be easy for Kazler to find two. Looking for more, and it might be it. Slandy needing this in a 1v2 situation, but they're confident they might just be able to find it. Regardless, time doesn't work out in favor, and Slandy knows it's not their time yet.
So there is money on the board for this one, but 2 rounds of losing that, or buying and losing for RF, and they're seeing Meso kind of get some rounds that might be a little troublesome and squeeze that lead tight. So they save that. They're not going to go too crazy. They keep some good money in there, and they're feeling comfortable right now because they can still do a few things in these rounds with that money, not having to drop any weapons to throw Meso off their game. So that's a full one. We haven't seen too many of those for Meso here on the second half, right? We see the 1 kill round on 15, and now finally a successful post plant there on 19. Round 20 comes in. Elise forward here. They try to make sure the operator or something dangerous isn't on pipes. Double clear for that section. Better safe than sorry, because they have the site now, and Meso is going to look at this 5v5 retake from Reformed here. The lockdown.
Spike planted.
Putting the lockdown and assisting Kazler with feeling pretty comfortable with pushing this in with the Hunter's Fury. An interesting addition with the fights already happening down on site, and it's not working. There's still so much more to be done. Already super low. Elise. Of course, walls settle down. Try to give way for something else. They know the location of Slandy. Slandy better to the touch forward. And is this it
this
for
wall, though.
them? It is Reformed have taken in this game with a 13-7 scoreline.
Win.
Playing smart, playing confident, Reformed look like they even have room to keep growing on this one. There's about to be 2 rivs on screen. That one's way cooler because they just won right now. But can you believe it? What are you going to do? That was crazy.
Yeah.
And Riv, honestly, deadlock into this one, into the KJ, and the operator on the last rounds too, just to spice up the way they were playing defense. Reformed is looking clean across the board here, and they support each other if somebody's not doing something inside or backing each other up with utility. They had answers for a lot of what MESO brought to the table today, and it was to stall and just stymie the aggression. MESO Millionaires tried to bring in, tried to change, and there's a really good adaptation there from Reformed GC.
Yeah, and you could kind of tell that. I would say utility was also a huge portion as to why MESO had so much trouble even executing on anything, right? Whether or not it be, okay, let's lure them into these fights that MESO did very, very well, isolating fights and trying to pick off 1v1s. But at the end of the day, it was so incredibly hard to get on site. It was so incredibly difficult to get past a certain checkpoints and stuff like that, just because they knew how to use their util so well. They knew how to play with the Gecko. They knew how to play with the Sage. They knew what to do in these moments. And that's why you could see the implementation of the KO. Okay, let's play KO. Maybe it'll work this game, and maybe it'll be harder for them to do anything. But it wasn't. It was a good game and a closer game. But at the same time, it still is the victory for Reformed. Feels good.
They do take it. So that's Reform moves on to play Shopify Rebellion now. And that's obviously going to be Mesos Millionaires dropping down. I think they play Floppers. Yes. So still in it, still a lot of room there. And I think Mesos Millionaires has a few things they can absolutely look at there, like the miss KO to the jet upping on yellow, or just the kind of, Molly team kill. It happens. It's whatever. We show love. And damage all around. But those are things that are easy to clean up. And from the last series they played versus Reform to this one, already a ton of growth. So expect them to come back even stronger. I can't wait.
No, I agree. I'm excited to see the next couple matchups. But of course, that's it for today for me and Riv. It's been a pleasure having you guys watch VALORANT Game Changers with us. But I want to see more from the analyst desk and what they think about this series. Take it away, guys.
Came through with it again. They know that I got spirit with a pen. Don't know why they try to compete when they know that in victory it's never gonna end. Them in a week, that's why they could never speak. They ain't like me, I take it to the peak. Different type of steeds that I breed. Wheel up on the mic, they won't get one of these. Please, I don't wanna hear no talk from them. I don't wanna see nothing at all from them. They can't do it like me. So all I wanna see really is a round of applause from them. Vibes in the air, we cause it again. Life isn't fair, but we rode it again. All of my teams being ready for the war, there's no warning for them. Tell them again, I ain't here to make up no friends. I just came through yet again. We look, you never got one of them. Top of the pound yet again. They can't stop this child not again. Reigning champ, I won't lose it. So you know I'm gonna win that again. Tell them again. Tell them again. Tell them again. Tell them again. I ain't here to make up no friends. I just came through yet again. We look, you never got one of them. Top of the pound yet again. They can't stop this child not again. Reigning champ, I won't lose it. So you know I'm gonna win that again. Tell them 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 again. I ain't here to make up no friends. I just came through yet again. We look, you never got one of them. Top of the pound yet again. They can't stop this child not again. Reigning champ, I won't lose it. So you know I'm gonna win that again.
Welcome, everyone, back to Verizon Game Changers Series 2. I'm your host, Elizabeth, joined by Bala and Vans. And if you're just joining us, you missed it. I'm so sorry. You missed a banger 2-0 with Reformed GC defeating MESO's Millionaires. Bala, I'm going to throw it to you. We were having a great time watching that game because there was just some tried and true clean Valorant we got going on there.
Yeah, some interesting rounds and some really, really good calls from Reformed here in this game. Also, just some hard-fought rounds, too. It once again felt like on Bind where, you know, it was very, very close until it wasn't. But I think for me, this is a story of, you know, MESO's Millionaires coming back against Reformed here, having another chance, and performing better despite changes for this team. Just quite not able to pull it across the line.
At least one positive thing that I could take out of MESO's Millionaires was the timeout that they called. I think like on the 2 to 4 or something, they were behind or something like that.
Just make up a number too.
Yeah, exactly. They were falling behind and took a timeout. They started coming back. That's my TLDR. But I think it's them realizing how, you know, simple dizzies were still getting so much value out of their forward positions that nobody was really breaking that coordination or allowing the coordination to happen so somebody breaks the dizzy so you can hold the crossfire. So instead, after the timeout, they said, let's just play it further back. There's less utility that they have on the side of RF to push towards these sites, and then we can just get these kills. And he did, and it made it a very close first half. But towards that second half, unfortunately here, it's just a little bit of miscommunication and also missed time of like knives and flashes that didn't allow here MESO's Millionaires on the attack to get that much value out of like the double initiator comp they want to do. So that's just unfortunate. It just makes it a lot more labored for MESO's Millionaires to try to make the game really close. So easily for RF to just win game and round after round after round, just quite easily on their side.
I do want to give a big shout out to Kazler, because I think when that game was close, it's like, okay, and then all of a sudden Kazler comes out with a couple of clutches in a row, and dang, they were I mean, very, very good. You saw one in the replay just like 2 rounds ago, and that was fantastic. But I think especially when you come to this attack side, you're seeing very similar stats, at least in terms of the post plants. What you're not seeing is these early engagements. It was 10-10 on Bind, here 15-5 for Reformed. It's a big difference, and that makes everything when you're dealing with these scrappy situations, when you're dealing with a game plan that's not fully fleshed out on the side of MESO's. Losing that first player means everything, and I think credit to the Jet on Reformed.
Yes, an excellent game, so much fun to watch as well. But for the Verizon post-match interview, we have to do some celebrating because I'm bringing in the birthday person. Bring it in, Slandy. Come on in. Happy birthday, Slandy.
Thank you.
And a huge congratulations. That was a dominant performance, Slandy. How do you feel right now? Basic question, but I gotta know.
Feeling good. I mean, I think we expected coming in to win, like after the Open Qual 3 win, like feeling pretty confident. So expected to win, but feeling good. So.
Did you, because we put up your score lines before when you guys have, you faced MESO's before and seen kind of like that much starker difference between your score line versus now. Did you expect it to be a little closer this time like it was, or did you expect it to be like it was last time?
I never ever expect any team with Teddy's Fluffy on it to be bad, ever. So last time, she's just an incredible IGL. Like she is like, they're a pug team basically. Like they haven't really practiced together, and she can turn any team like pug style like into a threat. So I will never ever underestimate that girl ever. So always gonna come in confident, but want to make sure that like I'm never gonna like, I expected it to be close or like closer. I think last time they like weren't playing their best maybe, or maybe like just wasn't like their day, but that's like this more of a performance, and like having it be a little bit closer, having there be some like tense rounds is like really what I expect from that team. I don't expect it to be easy against them by any means. Like they're really good at like thriving in that chaos, and Teddy creates the chaos. So definitely not ever going to count them out.
Something we were talking about a lot in the desk, I'm assuming you didn't hear us because you were obviously preparing to compete, is the idea of there are only 2 signed teams competing in this series of GC, and the rest are insane stacked free agent teams. And I spoke to Mel before the event, and she said, don't sleep on the free agent teams. And Slandy, Reformed is the epitome of that. Bringing out the Deadlock Unbind, bringing out all these like just tried and true rehearsed strats and excellent mechanics. Reformed are so impressive, and y'all are just doing your thing as a free agent team.
Yeah. I mean, we're just doing what we can. Like we don't have like the longest practice hours. Like people have like other commitments. People have other things they have to do. We have like a full-time student on the team. We have people who have jobs. Like it's hard to make everything work because it's not what we're able to do full-time, and as much as we would love it to be. But we practice where we can. We get our hours in where we can, and like we're grinding. Like it's gonna be hard, and like even though we're not one of those 2 signed teams, like we want to be up there, right? Like all these players on my team deserve opportunities, and there's my cat on the side.
There's a kitty cat.
Yeah, hold on. Everyone.
All good.
Camera goes back up. Everybody on my team like deserves these opportunities, and everyone on my team like grinds really, really hard for it. And it's just something that we all really want. And I'm sure the same can be said about the other free agent teams. Like it's something that a lot of these free agent teams have players on them that are really hungry, and we've all been there, and we're all fighting for whether it's somebody else's spot, a new spot, whatever, right? Like we all want to make this the dream still. And that's every free agent team's goal. And at this point, we have nothing to lose. So that's why like it's really, really hard to count out any free agent team because again, we're all here, we're all grinding. Like it's not like we're stressed in any way or we have anything to lose or anything on the line because it's only everything to gain for us.
Do you think that makes you more aggressive or hungry? Or I know you say you have nothing to lose, but in the server itself, does that change the way you actually play, like micro-wise or macro-wise?
I think it affects confidence a lot. I think there's a lot of times where we're like, you know what, like let's just swing an angle, or like let's just go for this play, or and that's something that like translates really, really well into like sign teams and stuff like that. You want that confidence. You want players who are going to make the big play or make the big swing, whatever they have to do to win a round. But it's something that I've noticed a lot on free agent teams. People are more willing to do because there's not a lot on the line. It's just transferring that as a player, like making sure that when there is stuff on the line, like when you get to these big events that we're playing right now, like when you get to those bigger teams or you get on a signed team, like it's time to translate that just from making sure it's not empty confidence while you're a free agent. And that's something that like I know my team does really well. Like we're not going to shy away from these big events at all. It's something that I know like teams like Passion Project, like super well-versed players, they're not going to shy away from these events. They're not going to shy away from the signed teams. They're not going to shy away from making the big play. And like it's something that as a free agent team, it definitely like helps having that extra confidence, but it's something that can be pushed further, I would say.
I want to ask you specifically about the deadlock unbind because we were obsessed with it on the desk because we were talking about how the deadlock just allows Riv to be so aggressive as a player and just forward. And you saw she was getting all of these deadlock ults that were hitting and working, using her trips. Whose idea was that? When did that come about? And did you build that comp around that? Just talk to me about working with the deadlock.
Yeah, so first and foremost, like Bind as a map, it's like you have the 4 core agents. Most of the time you have your Skye, your Raze, your Brimstone, your Viper, and then most people will like play around with that 5th slot. And coming out of like our last set of open qualifiers, we were like, we don't really like the map a lot. Like we need something to change. Like we really need to feel passionate about a comp. Like we need to feel something good so that this map like continues to be a strong map for us and is something that we want to play, right? So we kind of steered away from anything that's like default heavy. We steered away from doing like traditional stuff, or like let's do something that's exciting. And something that I think is really, really cool about our team is our coach Remote does a fantastic job of like, he's always bringing new ideas and always watching other regions. Like he's a huge, huge APAC and China lover. Like he loves the teams over there. He loves watching them. He's an FPX enjoyer. So watching anything he can from over there and then just like bringing it to us and being like, hey guys, like what if we tried this? Like, hey, what if we like toss this in? And he brought us this deadlock idea one time. And it was just like, hey, like I have some good ideas with the deadlock. Doesn't interfere with like the default 4. Like we just add the deadlock in and see what happens. So it was something that Riv was excited to try. She had never played deadlock in like the competitive team format before. And we were like, yeah, like let's see what we can cook up. So we made like some game plans. Remote brought his ideas, and it was just like a big like Remote like made the outlines. Like this is what the character does. Like this is what we want it to function as. And then Riv really just like I want to say filled in the gaps. Like she does a great job of doing her homework, making sure like all of her lineups are good. Like she does a fantastic job of like watching whatever VODs she can, like making sure everything she has ready to go. And she is not one to like slack on the prep side at all. So definitely props to Remote, definitely props to Riv. Like they really make that composition work. And then they just bring me all these ideas, and all I have to do is like be like, oh, this would work now, or hey, this would work now. And they make my job super, super easy as an IGL because that's all I have to do is I know I can rely on the strats that Remote's prepped for us. I know that I can rely on Riv being like like knowing her stuff inside and out, and I know I can rely on the rest of my team to just fully like complete that. So it just like really ties it all together. Like once Riv and Remote like got that stuff down and brought it to us, like the rest of the team, we were ecstatic to have it, and it made us passionate about the map again, which is like something that I think is really, really important.
I mean, just to butt in there, you also have to be good at being an IGL, Slanty. Like you are an excellent IGL. Yes, it makes your job easy, but you can have all the recipe and all the ingredients, but you need to cook, literally. All right, so you need to be proud of yourself too. Okay, it's your birthday. You get all these compliments for free. Don't worry about it. All right. One last question before I let you go. Enjoy your birthday. What can you give us like a birthday wish we can all hope for you?
Oh gosh, a birthday wish.
Yeah.
You know, I think I will give my birthday wish to Shopify tomorrow because they're probably going to need it. So they can have it.
Happy birthday, Slandy. Thank you so much for joining me for the Verizon post-match interview. Congratulations. And we love to see it. Oh my God.
Go. I love that. I love that. Let's go, Slandy.
That was so cold. That was so cool.
I love it. I love it.
Dang. That's going to be such an interesting game tomorrow, Shopify and Reform now.
Yeah, remember the Bible. Hey, don't underestimate these free
What did
agent
Mel
teams,
say?
Mel.
Mel better listen to her own words. But I love that. All in good spirit, all in good fun. Everyone here who competes in GC is all part of that mission statement of just making this the best place it can be for everyone a part of it. And that includes a little bit of some bars being spat by this Slandy.
Yeah,
I love it. And also, again, a huge happy birthday to Slandy. What a great little birthday present. Not a little birthday present, a nice birthday present to win on your birthday. That's so much fun. Like Noya won on her birthday. Speaking of Shopify Rebellion, she won the GCC on her birthday. But speaking of tomorrow, let's take a look at the bracket we have. With all the games are now finished for today. We just saw Reform defeat MESO's Millionaires 2-0. And as you can see, Shopify Rebellion will be facing Reformed after defeating Flop 2-0. And then we have Passion Project versus Solstice. Now, we were talking in production. We are very excited about Passion Project versus Solstice, Bala.
Yeah, I mean, I think that could be a serious challenge to Passion Project. Despite, I mean, I didn't get the chance to watch that first game for Passion Project, but it was a stomp. Like, just looking at the scoreline, so it seems like they're in good form. I'm very excited to see what Solstice is actually going to be able to put up against with that upset against Fly today. That was a very impressive game, and I expect it to continue, honestly, based off of the base that I saw today.
And then also we have Teddy Tactics versus FlyQuest. Now, some people may not, if we were just joining Vance Elite, may not have expected to see FlyQuest in the lower bracket already. This early, yes.
No, 100%. I think Solstice, again, just to bounce back on that one, have shown that, you know, there's not a real favorite under Shopify Rebellion as the first place finisher for GC Series 2. So that second place is up for grabs. And also seeing that an unsigned team like Solstice is able to upset a team like FlyQuest gives a chance here for Teddy Tactics to really go through those VODs from today's games and try to come up with a sound plan here to try to get that same upset where, you know, FlyQuest unfortunately doesn't really look like the strongest FlyQuest that we know as of yet. So this is a great opportunity to turn those tides and turn the storylines around and somewhat, in a sense, make history too, to be able to knock out FlyQuest so early.
Yes, and we know Ender, who is the coach of Teddy Tactics, we already know that he is prepping and he is cooking because he's a very, very smart individual.
Yes, definitely.
And then we also have Floppers versus MESO's Millionaires. I'm also very excited for this one because when you're in the lower bracket, it is do or die. And as Slandy was talking in the interview before, these are free agent teams with nothing to lose, but everything to gain. So you go for it. We say this. We have this saying in wrestling, Ball it, like reach for the brass ring, take the brass ring, and this is really their chance for either of these teams to make a huge impact.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for Floppers, to me, that's a decently experienced team. So it's unlucky that they drew Shopify in the first round, but you also have to think, for me, they're the favorites in that match against Mesos tomorrow. Yeah. Some experience on that team too as well, but from what we just saw today, it should be a good match. But yeah, they're facing elimination. To me, it's the battle, the two different, like, I don't know, video game named characters, the floppers from Fortnite and the Maple Story guys.
Is that where that's from?
Yeah, the Fortnite floppers. Yes, yeah, absolutely.
I did not know that.
It's a little fish. You eat it and gain HP.
Wow.
I want to do that, so I don't know. Just kidding. I used to play MapleStory, but I didn't know about Mesos. I didn't play
So
that
you,
seriously.
you're a fraud, Vance.
I
Are
am
you
a fraud.
kidding? You should have noticed that.
Hey, don't be coming at him with your. I've never watched an episode of anime in
That
my
is also-
life.
Well, that does not make me a
Thanks, Paula.
fraud. But oh my god. Anyways, so we have games tomorrow, anyways, and you
Yeah.
better be here for those games. We have some absolute banger matchups coming up. We have Shopify Reformed probably, as well as Solstice versus Passion Project. I'm so excited for both of those games.
Mm-hmm.
And any predictions for tomorrow? Do I dare ask for the caster curse?
Oof.
I'm gonna go. Yeah, for sure. I'm going with the Solstice upset against Passion Project.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
no, this PP Rising. PP Rising and Shopify Rebellion. Those are the two teams winning tomorrow.
Yeah, basic Vans.
I mean, not just stating facts.
You know what? The confidence of Slandy, dare I say, giving that
you're
birthday
crazy.
wish to Shopify?
Yeah.
crazy.
Actually, I don't know. I love Slandy, but sometimes when you actually tell you what the birthday wish is, it goes in the opposite way,
true.
you know?
Yeah,
So I think she's gonna have to wish something else. I'm gonna give her a chance to wish for something else so that we can see the upset from Reformed against Shopify Rebellion.
Yeah.
But it's gonna
She-
be a very tough game for them to try to win.
She technically didn't blow out a candle, right? So like the wish does.
That is also very true. So there is a chance.
But we will see you back here at 2 p.m. Pacific time. And on behalf of everyone in production, as well as Bala and Vans, thank you so much for joining us today on the opening day of Verizon Game Changers Series 2. Now we're going to send you on your merry way. So have fun, be safe, make good decisions, and remember to look in the mirror today and remind yourself how great you are. We'll see you tomorrow.
Great.